And Manulife Insurance teamed up to end the coverage or limit the coverage of 260 medications for Canadians. More profits for them and less coverage for Canadians. Well, they tried to do it. We fought back and they've walked back that decision. But the Prime Minister has an opportunity now. Yep. They have an opportunity now.
This guy even talking is a waste of oxygen.
This is something the Prime Minister has promised and broken that promise. The Liberals have promised and failed for 30 years. So what the Prime Minister has a choice. Will he choose to stop working for big pharma? Yes or no?
Will you choose to stop working?
The Honourable Minister.
Period. Yes or no, Jagmeet?
Much, Mr. Speaker, and of course we share the member's objective to reduce drug price for Canadians and to make sure that we have a competitive and fair environment in Canada. We're working together on Pharmacare legislation. I look forward to continuing those conversations. And of course, Canada, by engaging in bulk purchasing, has seen a reduction of about $300 million in the cost of drugs for Canadians across this country, with many countries looking to how they can emulate that kind of practice to reduce drug prices in their countries. We're going to continue to do everything we can, Mr. Speaker.
That's how you say something without even saying anything.
For Burnaby South.
Choosing big pharma and Canadians keep paying the price. Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, Liberals are talking about Loblaws and how the other party has ties to Loblaws, but they have ties with Loblaws. In fact, over the past years, they met with Loblaws 60 times. And they have received millions of dollars, or thousands of dollars, rather, from the Sobeys family. They need to bring down prices. When will the Liberals stop governing for the Sobeys and Westons of this world?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it is absolutely essential that we bring down the cost of living, and we need to improve affordability. That is why we worked with all provinces and territories to buy medication for bulk purchasing to bring down costs. Now, as for lobbying, that's a question for Jenny Burns, I'd say, Mr. Speaker.
From Burnaby South.
What do you get with 24 Liberal MPs in Toronto? A housing crisis. A Davenport MP
This guy's such an idiot.
gaslights and attacks the city and the housing workers that are struggling to make sure people have a place to call home. Whether you were born here or moved here, no one should live on the streets. The city and the housing groups are just asking the Liberal government to do their fair share. So will the Liberals provide the $250 million that Toronto needs now?
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the member opposite for the very important question.
For his dumbass question?
To the importance of the great city I have the privilege of representing, Toronto, which is such an engine of economic growth for our entire country. Mr. Speaker, we are having very constructive conversations with the City of Toronto and with the Province of Ontario. We are providing $1.5 billion for Toronto in 23-24. We're there for Toronto more than any government in Canadian history.
The Honourable Member for Burnaby South.
We need to let down Toronto.
Yeah.
Yesterday, such a
the
dummy,
Minister
man.
of Industry gave me a good laugh. He said he was disappointed in the big grocery chains after asking people to look at the flyers. And after failing to stabilize prices, he concluded that another investigation was needed. We know the problem. People are being ripped off while CEOs are lining their pockets. When will the Liberals stop protecting the profits of big grocers? The Honourable Minister of Innovation. I'd like to thank my colleague for his important question. Mr. Speaker, the price of groceries is an issue that affects all Canadians. That is why, Mr. Speaker, Canadians understand that the best way to stabilize prices in the medium and long term is to have more competition in the country. That is exactly why we've amended the Competition Act in December to give more power to the competition agent. And yesterday, I asked him to use his new powers to help stabilize prices in Canada. The leader of the NDP should be pleased with that action.
1,000 likes.
Edmonton had to declare a housing and homeless emergency while the Conservatives are laughing about homeless people and a housing crisis. Toronto also also had to declare one as well. Again, you'll hear the Conservatives laughing because they have no concern for people that are struggling with housing or homeless.
Jagmeet talks and the whole freaking room goes crazy.
And they don't get it. The Prime Minister doesn't get it. The Liberal Minister for Edmonton doesn't get it. And the 24 Liberal MPs in Toronto don't get it. Why does this government wait until before acting?
He's lost his damn mind.
To date, things were going quite well, but I would ask the members, the member for Edmonton West, the member for St. Margaret South Shore, please.
Oh, he's got glasses on now.
Don't speak unless the chair recognizes you. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Use every tool at our disposal to address housing affordability. We meant it. The Minister of Housing recently announced that the post-secondary institutions can now access the apartment construction loan program for low-interest financing to build student housing. This builds on our work to find innovative and bold ideas to accelerate construction, including unlocking over 500,000 new homes through the Housing Accelerator agreements. More examples of the federal government in action.
Very good.
Jagmeet just looks so dumb.
Doesn't get it. Quelle surprise. Le premier...
What a surprise. The Prime Minister broke yet another promise.
Then
Rent eviction
call off the coalition, you
at a
turd.
high.
Holy smokes.
He is refusing to tackle major investors like he promised. Why does the Prime Minister say one thing during the election campaign and then defend his friend's profits once elected?
Why do you say one thing in your videos
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
and then you do another?
Speaker, we are taking action on a number of fronts. So we're promoting the construction of housing and co-ops by eliminating the GST on construction. We're ensuring that more houses are built faster, working closely and directly with the municipalities. We're helping Canadians save to build a home with the tax-free savings account for the purchase of a first home. There's more work to be done. I invite all governments across the country to be bold with us to improve the cost of housing and the construction of affordable housing.
The honourable member from Peterborough, Kawartha.
After 9 years of this Liberal NDP government, here's the facts. 1 in 5 Canadians knows someone accessing a food bank. 25% of Canadians are going hungry, and 44% feel financially worse off than just 1 year ago. Canadians aren't doing well, despite this Prime Minister gaslighting them. And it gets worse. Now, there's a PBO report that reveals the true cost of the carbon tax. So, why aren't they allowing the PBO to release it? He's been gagged, and now we want to know why.
Yeah. The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, the only people in this city who seem to be gagged are Conservative MPs. They're not allowed to express their true views when it comes to ending a woman's right to choose. And none of them are allowed to express a view on tax fairness. But
She's so fucking dumb.
They're going to have to stop deflecting and evading and take a stand. We'll see if they support fairness for every generation.
The honourable member from Peterborough, Kawartha.
Well, thank you for that perfect example of deflecting. Again, this is not hearsay. This is a letter sent by the minister's office to the PBO, okay? He is saying to the PBO, this is the real cost of the carbon tax. Conservatives have been saying for months to axe the tax because we know it drives up the cost of literally everything. It is causing misery. The Liberals say that's not true. So if it's not true, why the gag order? Why are they not allowing the PBO to release this carbon tax cover-up that shows the true cost of what it's costing Canadians?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, we believe in investing in affordability for Canadians with programs like a national school food program, dental care, a national system of early learning and childcare, and we're going to pay for it in a responsible way with tax fairness. So I would like to invite that member to lift her own personal gag order and come clean with Canadians on whether she supports tax fairness or whether or she supports tax breaks for the wealthiest among us.
Fair question.
The honourable member from Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
Canadians are not being fooled by this Prime Minister or that Deputy Prime Minister. They know the carbon tax is making their lives more unaffordable. Last week, the Parliamentary Budget Officer confirmed that a secret government report shows that the carbon tax costs Canadians more than they get back. The Prime Minister has forced the PBO to sign a gag order so that he can't share that report. Canadians deserve the truth. When will this government come clean with Canadians and release the report?
Exactly.
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, the people who are not going to be able to fool Canadians for very much longer are these Conservatives. For days and days, for weeks and weeks, they have been dithering and deflecting and evading when it comes to our proposed measures on capital gains. Tomorrow, they're going to have to take a stand. So I invite the member opposite to lead the way by lifting her own personal gag order and saying what she believes.
I'm going to ask members again, who've been really pretty good today, is to please just not take the floor until they're recognized by the chair. I'm certain we all want to hear the question from the honourable member. The honourable member from Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
Well, the fact of the matter is, Mr. Speaker, Canadians know that after 9 years, this Prime Minister is just not worth the cost or the corruption. He is desperate to cover up his own secret report, which shows that Canadians are worse off under his carbon tax regime. He knows it, we know it, and Canadians know it. When will this Prime Minister lift his gag order on the Parliamentary Budget Officer and release his report?
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Mr. Speaker, on Friday, surprise of surprises, that very member from Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek, informed, I'm sure for the first time, her own caucus colleagues, but indeed the entire House of Commons, that she picks and chooses which parts of the Conservative platform she runs on. This whole party, we know, ran on a price on pollution in the last election, but this member stood up and told us that she really didn't. So maybe she could tell us right now which parts of the Conservative platform she doesn't approve of today.